What's up, YouTube? I'm Robert, and this is the biker channel, B1. Today, we're on the, God, every time I start this, I forget which number it is, the 27th episode of the Biker Bar. And we got a little different format set up today. There's going to be three different YouTube channels that have just started. They're in the right around the 1K mark, and we're going to talk about the trials and the tribulations of being a new YouTuber and how that goes, and hopefully it'll turn out to be quite interesting. I would imagine there's a bunch of you guys out there that are starting channels or thinking about starting a channel or have started a channel, and I would imagine the things that we're going to talk about probably will be relevant even to guys that have been doing it for a while. I mean, there's not a science or a rule book to how this goes, so I think it'll be a lot of fun for all of us. Just to start out, if you guys aren't familiar with this, you're new to the channel. Basically, Biker Bar is like a long format interview kind of conversation that happens every Sunday at 5 p.m. PST. Usually goes about an hour to two, depends on how much beer I have to drink and whether or not I gotta go to the bathroom. So if you're just one of those, like, I think it's like 46% to 53% of people that watch my channel and don't subscribe, please hit the button to subscribe. It makes me happy. I like being happy. There's a little thumb up button. You can hit that as many times as you want. I like that, just as long as it's an even number, because then that means it's still on. No, an odd number. That's what it needs to be, an odd number. So don't listen to anything I say about math. I'm not good at that. So I appreciate everybody that throws out super chats during the show. I don't always get a chance to respond to them all. I try to hit you up on the keyboard, but I don't have the opportunity to really call everybody out. That's not the way it works on here. So don't feel like I'm not feeling the love. I really do appreciate all that from all of you guys. If you have a chance, if you're watching this after the fact, I'll add in to show more, like the links to these guys' channels and other things that we talk about. So go ahead and take a look at that. Also, I have a Facebook and an Instagram channel at Biker B1. So B1KER B1. Feel free to stop by there and subscribe or follow or whatever they call it on that platform. Like, it's like too many social media words. So from there, let's go ahead and get started. So the three channels that we have, they're a little bit all over the country. We have we had Fat Guy biking on just petting his kitty. So we'll go ahead and start with him.
Sorry.
I thought he was like full on, like what is that, Dr. Evil or whatever? Just like,
hey, I'm trying to take over the world, I guess.
So tell us a little about your channel and who you are, and then we'll go ahead through these other guys and see where we end up at.
So I'm Robert. I'm another Robert. Mainly, I am basically starting my channel. I started about 2.5 months ago or so, and basically I'm trying to lose weight. I'm already down 75 pounds, and I'm also just trying to progress my skills because I am back to mountain biking after about 10 years. So just
10 years is a normal break for a lot of people. Pretty good at losing 75 pounds in 2 months too. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I had to take kind of a break from pretty much everything. I lost my wife and son.
Oh no!
Back then, so that kind of.
Wow, you just ruined my joke. Thanks a lot.
Sorry.
Now I'm just an asshole. Right on.
No.
So then the other two guys here. So you're in Pennsylvania, right? So somewhere on the west side of Pennsylvania, up
yes,
close
sir.
to Pittsburgh-ish. For those of you guys that know geographies, for the rest of you, I don't know what to say. So we also have in Texas, we have down here Cobra Kyle. So in between doing a dojo, apparently he's running a YouTube channel. Tell us about that, man.
Yeah. So like you said, I'm Cobra Kyle. I live in San Antonio, Texas. I got two of my bikes here. I have 6 bikes. So I'm really into biking. I've been making videos for actually like a couple years now. I've just been taking it more seriously the last maybe year or so. Just trying to show local trails, meet as many local riders as possible, and travel as much as I can.
Right on, man. So, and then the last channel that we have is well, you know, we had to make sure that we were like geographically correct. So we pulled somebody in from out of the country, and we have up from Ontario, Canada, Toogie Hauser. Toogie, let us know about your channel.
Yeah, basically, I started my channel about 9 months ago. just getting back into mountain biking after like a long time, like probably 20, 30 years away from biking completely. Got back into it late 2017, and started the channel earlier last year, 2018, just to document sort of my journey, getting back into it, learning everything along the way, learning how to basically ride, and just sharing that with everybody and trying to get better.
So out of the two of you guys that just started riding and recently, so to speak, what was it that made you guys decide, hey, I'm going to take on this new thing and make it as difficult as possible by trying to capture it on YouTube too?
I don't know. For me personally, it was just I got my bike and I was basically just on YouTube looking for anything I could about bikes. I didn't know how to set up, suspension or anything, and it was just watching videos by, BKXC or Seth or Alex or all the main guys, Skills with Phil and all those channels, and then thinking, well, maybe it'd be cool to just throw my hat in the ring and just kind of start as a beginner and go from that route, sort of thing.
Sweet. Since you didn't mention my channel, I'm not going to ask you any more questions. So, and how about you, Robert?
Well, I started off, I saw a video with Seth. He was at some bike park in Tennessee. I forget what was it, Windrock, I think. Mm-hmm. And then I saw Alex, and then brought me to one of my next recommendations was you, Robert, and so I clicked on the link and checked it out, and basically I've been kind of immersing myself in it, and it was probably right around the June timeframe of last year. Mm-hmm. And right around September is when I actually started back up again.
And Kyle, so you've been riding for a while. Obviously, you got a whole like garage full of bikes. I know the problem. N+1, right? Yeah. What was it that you said you've been filming for a while? So what was it that made you decide to start kind of stepping it up?
Well, originally I was actually making drumming videos on YouTube. So if you go back far enough, you'll see that maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. And then I just wanted to ride my bike more. So I figured this was a good opportunity to just push myself as someone who tries to be creative and then someone who enjoys biking. So I did road biking for a few years as well before I got back into mountain biking. So
you had a little hiatus from mountain biking as well.
Yeah, I think everyone does, like you were mentioning. I think 2012, I got my first mountain bike when I moved to Texas, and then did that for a couple of years, and then went to road biking for a couple of years, and then I missed mountain biking. And
just decided you weren't gay anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I met a woman, and I was like,
It's all right, man. I do ride road bike. I just don't do the spandex thing. So I'm that guy that's like got the dirty shorts with the poop stain on the back from all the trails, and all the roadies are looking at me like, what the fuck, dude? You don't have any spandex on? You're not going to be aerodynamic. I'm like, look at this belly. Fucking aerodynamic as shit. Right. So for you guys, what was one of the things that when you started YouTube that was like really kind of like overwhelming?
Well, for me, I think it was trying to come up with ideas on what to do. It was easy to come up with a couple of videos here and there, but then trying to keep that consistent, posting videos, at least once a week for me, it's been hard sometimes just coming out with stuff.
So just coming up with content. How about the other two, you guys?
I'll go but mainly I have plenty of ideas. The problem is just funding right now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, as I'm sure the other guys can attest, I mean, it takes a lot of work. I mean, I'm probably throwing in, at least 40 hours a week on top of my normal job, just editing and, doing everything else on top of that. I mean, hell, I'm using a smartphone gimbal, and I, rigged up a mount for my chest. So that's telling you how deep my pockets are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, all that stuff takes time. I'll tell you what, dude, I've been doing this for I think it's been a little over 2 years now. And I'm still finding something to buy for the channel every month. And that's one of those things that I think that is kind of misleading whenever you see some of the channels that are a little bit more established, and you're like, oh man, all I need is a is a GoPro, and I'm good to go, and some editing software which you can get for free. And I know when I started that I had like I didn't even have a tripod to sit my gimbal on or my camera on when I was like in the garage, so I like had it on top of a beer can. And that for me though was really like learning to edit. So that was really the biggest difficulty. Did any of you guys have any experience with that beforehand?
Well, actually, I do photography, and I did wedding videos years and years and years ago. So kind of the editing to me, I had done that before. I hadn't done it in a while, but that luckily for me, I didn't have to struggle with, which I can see as being a big hurdle for somebody to jump right into this and have to figure all that out. So I guess I was lucky there.
It's just a lot to learn, and everything, like half the tutorials out there, they really assume that you know like some basics, and when you start, you're like, where's the one that tells me like press this button that looks like that? You know?
Yeah, I'm still using iMovie to edit. I'm not even using anything advanced, just because I just don't have time to learn, you know, something like a Premiere or even, you know, Final Cut Pro, just because it takes so much time to even learn those softwares and to use them correctly. And I mean, I get by with the iMovie. There's a lot of stuff that it doesn't do that I'm not happy with, but you kind of get what you get.
I think as you start, it's really, you know, just kind of figuring out how to tell a story. So like the bells and whistles they're nice and all, but honestly, I don't think I can tell you, dude, I got subscribers when I had none. So obviously, like all of you guys have as well. I mean, it doesn't, like, people come for who you are, what your content is, regardless of how good it is. You know, like you'll always look at everything that you've done in the past and think it was better. Right. You know?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's my main thing is, you know, if I can best my last, you know, video I put out there, then I'm happy. I'm only in competition with myself. So as long as I can do better than that last video, I'm happy.
So you have a full-time job outside of YouTube. Cobra Kyle, you do as well?
Yes.
And Tugi, or you
For sure.
Sure. You mean the YouTube truck doesn't come once you hit 1,000 subs? You guys are getting all the money just dropped off?
I was waiting for it, but it hasn't shown up yet.
Yeah. I'm at what is it, like 6,200, and the truck didn't show up yet either. You know, I think there's, you know, I've talked to Brian from BKXC about this, because when he quit his job, he was at like 5,000 subscribers. And I think, you know, it really made people think it made a lot of people think that, oh, at that point, you're making enough money that you can quit your job. And he talked about on his videos a lot. He was like, oh man, I'm like dwindling through my savings, but people don't really hear that. They don't really remember that. They're just like, oh dude, this guy just quit his job. That's awesome.
Right.
So like it looks like the bar is really low, but really, man, it takes quite some time for it to be profitable. I mean, when Robert was saying that he's working like 40 hours on top of it, that's the way I explained my first year to a lot of people. It's like, imagine doing a full-time job for a year and then making like $100.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not making anything right now, and it's
right.
just like,
I'm saying, like, it took me a year and I got $100. I was like,
that's
dude.
why I'm like clinging to all these affiliates. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the big difference with Brian quitting his job at 5,000, he was able to devote 100% of his time to his channel. Yeah. Granted, he had money to do that or savings to do that, but just being able to throw all your effort into your channel, would be awesome.
Totally agree. Totally understand as well. And I think when you're starting, there's so many things to like go through. So like looking at Robert's got some merch on right now. I know Tugi's got some in the background. I've seen Cobra Kyle. Don't you have some stickers too and stuff like that?
Yeah, I only got stickers right now.
Yeah. But I mean, all that stuff takes time. You know, it takes time to design it, or it takes time to hire somebody and go through, you know, figuring out how you're going to pay for somebody to design it, or then getting it printed, or even knowing whether or not you have enough people to even make sense of that. You know, like why, like you could go out and get merch when you have, you know, 35 subscribers, but nobody's going to buy it.
No.
You know, like,
but hey, I like you can see in the background, I play in bands as well, and I have so many of my own shirts and CDs and everything that I am sitting on. So I know what that's like to get merch and nobody buys it, or maybe like 5 people. And then you have like 7 T-shirts for every day of the week of your own.
that's the beauty. That's the beauty of the drop ship stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you guys have started with that yet, but really like look for a drop shipper that has like the content or the stuff that you want, or maybe integrates well into your website. And if you have one, or just integrates into, you know, a good easy link that people can get to from YouTube. Because that's one of those things actually that really irritates me about YouTube with the Teespring thing. It's like they have that awesome integration, but you have to have like, I don't know what it is now, like 10,000 subscribers.
Oh yeah, it's a ridiculous amount from what I was looking into.
Right.
So
I think the way that they look at it was like, if you're doing like camera videos or cat videos, you can get 10,000 pretty quick. But whenever you're like in a niche, kind of like us, 10,000 is not very easy to come by.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, Cobra Kyle, how about you? What have you been doing lately to kind of up your game compared to last week's video?
Honestly, I guess showing my face more. I've gotten a lot of comments like that I don't, you know, show myself that much. And I've always just kind of wanted like the biking to be the story, not me or anything. But I guess people don't connect to that as much. So I'm kind of working on kind of putting myself out there more and addressing the camera in a sense. And then just learning more about lighting, especially because camera work I do okay at. Audio, I'm okay, but I definitely want to step up lighting and just telling better stories too.
Yeah, no, I totally understand where you're coming from there for sure. How about you, Tugi?
Yeah, for me, I'm trying to. I like to have a story maybe or an idea before going out and riding or doing something. I've had a lot of videos in the past where I basically just recorded the ride and then got home and then tried to put something together. I think sometimes if I have a little bit of an idea beforehand, it makes a much better video. And it's just coming up with those ideas and being able to execute them. I'm trying to do more of that.
Yeah, no, I feel it with both of you guys there, because honestly, I'm obviously pretty easy. Like, it's easy for me to just talk, you know, I'm like a natural born talker or whatever. So the way I always did my channel was exactly what Tugi said. I just showed up the fucking trail and turned on the camera, rode the ride and cracked all the jokes that I normally crack, and got home and like made a story out of that. And after a while, I realized that I wasn't like it was telling a story. It was just telling a story of like a bunch of guys going out and ride bikes, getting drunk afterwards, you know? So after a while, that story starts to be the same. So I really, I'm sure if you guys watch my channel, I don't know if you do or not, but, over the last few months for me, I've been really trying to focus on telling a story. And I agree with you, Tugi. It's like, you feel like you don't want to like do something that everybody else has done, but on the other hand, it's like that's really what people want to watch anyway, right?
Exactly.
And then you want to put your spin on it, you know, but how do you come up with those ideas? And then, like Robert was saying, sometimes it's like funding. Like, I have some really cool ideas about some like charity kind of ride things that I could do, but I need to buy like 6 $200 bikes to do it. I'm like, that's not gonna happen, you know. So go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, I love those cheap bikes. Every time I go into Walmart, I go look at the cheap bikes. I was like, man, I want to grab one of these bikes and just throw some good parts on it and, you know, see what it can do. But
there's a guy doing a channel that his whole channel was all like cheap bikes.
Yeah, Kev Central. I love that dude.
You know, it just goes to show, like, I think part of like your first year at YouTube is really just figuring out who you are and like what your content's going to be about.
Exactly.
Like here I am doing this, you know, like when I started, honestly, the reason I started doing the BKER Bar is because everybody kept telling me, and Daly, who I just saw pop up on the chat, telling me like, dude, your live streams are awesome, man. Like, that's really like, we really enjoy that. And I'm like, dude, it's just me in the garage getting drunk. How the fuck is that awesome? Like, I'm not even doing anything. I thought we were talking about like, I'm supposed to be a mountain bike YouTuber, you know? And then, but it was like hearing that over and over again. And it was like, okay, well, obviously then I need to like not be the guy that isn't listening to people's advice, because there was other guys that I was giving advice to where I was like, look, this is obvious. You should be doing this. And they're not hearing it either, So I think that's part of starting is just like really kind of figuring out who you are. And then also really paying attention to the things that you're good at. What type of video did you guys try to do that you thought it was going to be like a mainstay of your channel that just didn't play out well?
Well, I don't know. I did one recently. I mean, it did okay, but it put a ton of work into it, like basically a highlight reel for my whole year last year, clips of everything with a voiceover, which I've never done before, and trying to tell a story throughout the whole year. With music and everything. And I mean, it did okay views wise, and everybody seemed to like it, but I was kind of, for the amount of effort I put into it, I was expecting maybe more. I don't know, but
it's funny you say that. I mean, I have one that's actually what I use on my intro video or whatever it is on your page. Is that what that's called? The introduction video or something like that?
Yeah, trailer video.
Yeah. Video. I put that on there, and even with it playing every time somebody comes to my page, it still has shit for views. But it was a lot of fun to watch, though, at least for me.
Yeah, I won't say my trailer has like 30,000 views. So
shit, check you out. You also paid for some freaking advertising. Yes, I did. Why did you decide to do that, dude?
Well,
or how does that even work actually? Because that's how I saw your channel, to tell you the truth. I was on somebody else's.
Well, I have fucking commercial comes up
for this guy that has like 200 subs. I'm like, what the hell? I apparently missed the boat here.
Well, I figured, hey, Google somehow sent me a email that said, hey, if you spend $50, you get $100 in advertising credit. So I said, what the heck, might as well try it out. And I started, doing all the keyword searches, and, mainly targeted the ad to mountain bike videos. And then all of a sudden, I mean, I think I did $10 a day. In that first day, I gained like over 100 subs. I was like, oh my goodness. So,
how do you feel about the strength of those subscribers, though? Are they actually watching your videos and commenting, or are they?
I believe so, because the reason why I say that is it's kind of like it's analytical when you actually go to look at your ad. You see how much you don't really pay unless someone watches your ad.
Mm-hmm.
So because I use my trailer, and my trailer is only, a minute long, of course I made a successful ad, and, all the mountain bikers are watching it because, it's only a minute long, and it's, in Seth's video, it's in BKXC's video, it's in your videos. And
son of a bitch, I want royalties, man.
Hey. But I mean, it's one of those things that, it's
Brian Vaughn says, I'm checking my email for AdSense.
Yeah, I'm already making a note to maybe do that.
It's a lot. I mean, when I first sent it out, like I did, weight loss videos, and then, that wasn't taken off. And then I targeted it more for, mountain bikers, and then that really took off.
So when you started, were you planning your channel to be around weight loss or around biking?
Both.
So just a combination then.
Yeah, and mainly just like a more inspirational type channel. I want to.
So I was gonna say, because like a year from now, you're skinny. You're like you're fucked out of content, dude.
Well, I mean, my goal weight is 220 pounds. That's not light by any.
You'll be a fat guy then. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. So I mean, right now I'm at 310. So and I started at 386 in June. Wow, so it's been a long journey, but I really hope that it continues. But that's why it's kind of nice, because the people that have been subbing have been commenting and, saying, great job. And they've been sharing their stories. And, that really, really helps me out too, just hearing their stories.
So the goal is to be inspirational to other people.
Yeah.
How about you, Cobra Kyle? What's your goal? What are you trying to get out of this? All the bitches?
Well, they're already here. No, I mean, for me, it's just like, it's fun. I'm never bored. It's like a challenge to me to create something new every week, and just seeing like what works, what doesn't work. So it's like a continuous learning process, and I'm intrigued by that. So I get to progress as a rider and push myself to learn something new.
So it's a really good hobby that adds on to your other hobby.
Yeah, exactly.
How about you, Tugi?
Well, basically, yeah, I'm just trying to get better. But the good thing about YouTube is it pushes me, I think, to be a better rider. I've been in many situations last year, especially where if I was totally by myself and I wasn't recording or wasn't trying to make a video, I'd probably just ride around something. But I gotta like go for it, and I've had quite the crash reel last year because of that mentality.
I seen your buddy on one of your videos. He's like, dude, I don't even know you anymore.
I know, exactly.
It's pretty funny. I did watch that video that you were talking about, the montage one. I thought it was pretty good, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's got okay views. I just, I mean, I don't know what I was expecting it to get view wise, but I just know it took probably 10 times longer to do that video than it takes me to do any other video.
Yeah, I think every time you create a video, you expect it to be the one that goes viral.
Yeah,
you know, like or at least you hope somewhere inside of you. I'll tell you, my experience has been every video that I think is just going to shit all over the place is actually usually the one that does really well.
Oh yeah, that was the case with my conversion to tubeless video. I thought it was crap, and it has like the most watch time and everything out of all my videos. So
because it's something simple that people really they search for. How about you, Kyle? You got one of those?
Yeah, like my most popular video is actually how to bunny hop a road bike.
I saw that on your channel today. Actually, I almost clicked on it, but I was running out of time.
It was like one of the first videos I made. I was like, well, no one's gonna watch this. No one wants to bunny hop a road bike, but it took off.
How many views does it have? Do you know?
It's at like 22,000.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's shocking to me every time I see it.
I think one of the videos on my channel that has like the most views on it was like it was like I was just trying to make some content one day, and I wanted to like make my hub quiet because everybody kept fucking bitching about it. I got i9 hubs, they're like hella loud. I've been riding hubs like that for a long time, so I don't even hear them. And then I got on YouTube, all of a sudden I found out I like touched on religion or politics or something like that. And so I'm like, oh, I called up i9 like earlier in the week, and I was like, I'm gonna try to make my hub quiet. Did a little video on it. I actually recorded like 3 videos in the garage that day because I like did my brakes, I did the hub, and I did something else. I don't remember what
that was the first video I watched of yours, Robert. Was
the i9 one?
Yep.
See? And it's like, I'm like, I don't even know what like to me it was like, I don't know what it was, but whatever, people took off. I did one too recently that was I was just having a shitty day on the bike. And I remember like, even as I was riding, I was like, this is just freaking going to be awful. And then however it played out in the edit, even in the edit, I was like, this is dumb. Nobody's going to watch this. I remember even talking to my lady, like when I released it, I was like, this one's going to crash. It's not going to make me feel good. And it was like a day later, it had like more views than most of my videos in the last like 2 months before that. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's so unpredictable. Like even recently, I just got over 1,000 subs and then kind of went up to over 1,100 pretty quickly, and kind of feeling like things are going really well. And then I posted a video 2 weeks ago, and I don't know if YouTube just decided to clear out inactive subs or people really didn't like the video, although nobody disliked the video, but I lost subs and I wasn't gaining subs like I had been, and you immediately are like, what is going on? Like it feels like every time you post a video, it's like you're rolling the dice. You don't know what's going to happen.
Well, yeah. I mean, especially when you post a bike check video and then someone else posts a bike check video during the same day.
I swear to God, dude, my first year, every fucking good video idea I came up with, Brian and Alex would release the same video like 2 weeks before. Like I'd be like editing it, and then theirs would come up, and I'd be like, "Are you guys like fucking like you guys have my house bugged or something?" Like I couldn't believe it. So I just stopped watching their channel, and then I don't have to worry about it. No, I'm just kidding.
I have a really big idea that I'm doing, want to work on in the next few weeks, and basically I really haven't said anything about it. So
the thing is, it really doesn't matter, dude.
It doesn't, because it's probably going to get 10 views.
Yeah, no, I mean, what I'm saying is what doesn't really matter is the fact that somebody else has done it, because nobody's done it the way that you're going to do it.
Yes.
So like that's really what it always comes down to, you know. And like I've tried to hold things in tight before, and then I also got to a point where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna tell everybody what the fuck I'm doing, because maybe if they do one too and theirs is better than mine, then at least I'm gonna be like tagged onto theirs because I freaking did the same thing, right?
Exactly.
So if you sorry, I just have a question for Robert.
Yeah, go for it.
Just so, since you've been doing this the longest, I think out of us, have you ever done like a whole video, edited it, and just decided, nope, I'm not going to post it because it sucks or you don't like it or whatever?
Well, I almost don't post every video that I edit. I swear to God, every video that almost every one of them I think is freaking crap when I'm done. There's like only every once in a while there's one that I'm like really happy with whenever I finish. But I will say the video that I have actually recorded probably at this point 3 or 4 times, and several times I've actually got through the edit and scrapped it, is a night riding video. Every time I try to do a night riding video, I'm just not happy with the lighting. I'm not happy with the story, the way it's coming out. Like I feel like every time I learn a little bit more about how I'm going to make this video better, and I've been like getting better at like trying to capture it, but I still haven't got to a point where I'm stoked with something. How about you guys?
I'm not really happy with anything, to be honest with you.
Go for it, Tugi.
Oh, I've had a couple of videos I've done, especially I do some tutorial videos, like sort of repair videos, and I watch them back sometimes, and I'm really critical of like, maybe because I'm so new to all this, and that's sort of the angle I'm going for, is showing somebody how to do a repair or a tutorial from somebody that's never done it before. But sometimes I watch it back and I'm like, this isn't good. Like nobody should follow what I'm telling them to do, because I do something wrong, or I totally don't even notice I do something wrong until I'm watching it back later, and then decide just to scrap it.
I'll tell you what, dude, that's where voiceovers are amazing.
Yeah.
Like really, that's when everything that you fucked up in your first edit, you know, or in your recording, like you can fix with voiceovers. Mm-hmm. And I didn't do voiceovers for a long time because like part of my personality, like I was saying earlier, is I'm just a talker. So like I always wanted things to be like one take or exactly just however it came out, and that was going to be that. And then I realized later that no, you can actually fix those things, you know, and people actually enjoy that content with those fixes in there. Like they don't really care about that. Like they don't even notice that if there was a cut in it. Like I would do like a subscriber update, talk about 10 things. And usually like 9 times out of 10, yeah, I'd just get and talk, and it would be one cut and that would be it. But then when I'd screw up, be like, nope, start over. And it's down, like, you know, it just doesn't make any sense. You know?
Oh yeah. I mean, I screw up way too much. I have a stutter that's terrible. And, you know, I record my voiceover in my truck because it's the quietest place I can get to. So.
My favorite voiceover place is my lady's closet. I actually started out in the bedroom under the blankets because some other YouTuber told me that. And I did it like twice, and I was like, this is fucking weird. So I need to upgrade. So, and I walked into her closet one day because she's like, you know, hers is separate than mine. And it's like, it is fucking dead silent in here. And like whatever you say is like, just all the clothes are just like sucking up all that sound. I'm like, this is good. But I'll tell you what, man, a lot of people spend a lot of money on mics and all kinds of stuff. And I've used my iPhone for voiceovers until about, nope, I still use my iPhone for my voiceovers. Yeah. So.
Well, I sometimes think having a good story and good idea trump having, you know, a great camera, great microphone, great equipment. If you can tell a great story, that's the most important part.
Well, yeah, I totally agree with Tugi. I mean, I have one camera besides my phone, and that's pretty much it. So
how about you, Tugi? How many cameras you got?
A whole lot. Maybe not as many as Trail Features guy. He's got a ton of cameras, but
yeah, you said you were a photographer before, so you got a whole closet for them.
Yeah, but for the mountain biking stuff, GoPro Hero 7 picked that up a couple months ago, and so far been happy with it over the Hero 4 and gimbal setup. And then I picked up a Canon, this M100 here to do some vlogging stuff, and it's been kind of cool. And just a whole bunch of little stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So are you using that 7 on the chin of a full face, or are you using it on a chesty?
Mostly on a chin mount. I tried it on a chest mount for one video I did lately, and I don't know, it's just kind of weird, especially when you go downhill and stuff. The angle, is too far down, and it doesn't adjust the horizon.
Right.
So I find it works great on a full face, but I'm not too sure it works good chest mount without a gimbal.
Yeah. Cobra Kyle, how about you, bud?
Thanks to VanTop, I now have 3 cameras. So I use like this Panasonic G7 for external shots and stuff like that. I'm still doing the Hero 4 with the gimbal. It works for me. And then I got this cheap camera from that VanTop company. I don't use it anymore. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. Did you release the video already?
Yeah, I did the video. They weren't happy about it, but
I think we talked about that.
Yeah.
I did a video on theirs too, and I like freaking basically shit on it. And they like sent me an email, and they're like, "Oh, we saw the video. It's got a lot of likes and a lot of views." And I'm like, "You didn't watch it."
Yeah. Apparently they watched mine, and I thought I was pretty fair about it, and they're just like, "Oh, you need to redo it. Like you shouldn't have compared it to a GoPro." And I was like, sorry, like
how can you not compare it to a GoPro?
Exactly.
Hey.
And she's like, "Oh, it's bad if you're moving with it." Yeah. But she told me to ride my bike with it. I was like, well,
she said it's bad if you're moving with it. Every fucking picture on the box is like boating and skydiving and riding bikes and scuba diving. Like, what the fuck?
That should have been a red flag for me, but I took it anyways. I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. And
I watched Robert's video on it, and then I watched Kyle's video on it. I'm like, this thing is absolutely terrible.
So that was your first time, Cobra Kyle, getting like offered something for free?
Yeah, it was. Probably the last one I'll accept, like if it's one of these cheap cameras. Because I was really excited about it at first. It's like, oh cool, like I've made it as a YouTuber. I'm getting free stuff.
Yeah.
But, I don't want it now. Like I'm gonna probably give it to someone. And
yeah. So how about the other two? Either one of you guys, anybody reach out to you or hook you up with anything yet?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
You know what? I've been like thirsty. I've been throwing out emails. I mean, I've been trying to get in touch with the local bike like shops just to do videos there, and no one will reach back to me. I mean, I'm dead around here. So
wait. Sorry, I need to edit that. Sorry. The local bike shop, I did get a little bit hat and shirt and stuff to give away for my 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So
right on, dude.
So I got a little bit from them, but I've tried like Robert there of trying to reach out to people and not too successful so far.
You know, like Cobra Kyle was saying, it's definitely one of those things when it happens, you feel like, yeah, dude, I got it. But the hard part is actually like deciding how you're going to handle that. Because like you're like, well, here's my opportunity to try and like do a review about something or whatever. And like, on the other hand, just like Cobra Kyle, like, honestly, I'll tell you guys, people don't reach out to me on products. I got that camera that Cobra Kyle got is probably one of the few things that I've had sent to me on like just where they like somebody reached out to me. And I don't know what the reason is, probably because I cuss and I drink and I fucking not a pillar of fitness. I don't know. But it was, you know, I had that same feeling where I was like, oh, this is exciting, you know, I'll be able to do this video about this. And once I got it, it was, you know, I wasn't really impressed with that. And then it's really hard to like emotionally, or however you want to say it, like you're like, you want to be fair to the company that just gave you something for free, but on the other hand, you want to be honest to your subscribers.
Right.
Kind of puts you in a funny position. Fortunately, most of the stuff in the companies that I've worked with or work with now still is through me kind of like meeting them in person or meeting them at a trade show or just friend of a friend networking, and some of the cold call stuff every once in a while works, kind of like what Fat Guy biking was saying. So
yeah, I do a little bit too much of it. I mean,
it'll eat your time up though, man.
Yeah,
I think honestly, like don't waste your time at this point.
Yeah, and there's only really one company that's kind of responded, and they just said, hey, we don't even have an ambassador program yet. And we're getting one put together. So, I'll let you know when we get that done. So that was pretty much it.
What would be the for all of you guys, what would be the one company that would like you'd be stoked if you could get something from them or work something out with them?
Myself, I like being in Ontario here and all the snow and stuff that we have up here. Any bike company, I was just trying to reach out to anybody to give me a fat bike just to demo. I wasn't even asking for a free bike. I just wanted a bike to demo for a couple months and do some videos on. That would have made me super stoked, but so far, nothing.
No dice.
Yeah.
How about you, Cobra Kyle?
I think it'd be cool to like get the hookup on granola or like, some kind of riding food.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's the stuff I usually forget to go buy when I'm going out for a ride, and then I'm hungry, and I don't know. It'd be interesting to work with like a granola company or something like that.
I can tell you right now, dude, if you guys have any kind of like biking events, I guarantee you, if you go to one of them, and there's always like a handful of vendors doing that, you'd be able to pick something up because they're not getting a lot of publicity. So it would be pretty easy for them to hook you up with a bunch of product. And even if it's like, like $500 of Cliff Bars, dude, is a shit ton of Cliff Bars. You know what I mean? And like for you, you'll talk about it for like forever, right? Yeah. So like, I think that there's a lot of companies that I've seen at those events that are newer in that market that are trying to get their word out. I wouldn't doubt that you would be able to do that, but through marketing, like being in front of them.
Yeah.
How about you, fat guy?
Oh,
I'm gonna keep referring to you that instead of Robert because I don't want people not to know that your channel is.
I don't blame you.
Right.
It gets too confusing. Pretty much any type of apparel company. I mean, I ride in hoodie and jeans. Seriously. So
is it just because your size, like it's hard to find stuff?
It's a little bit of that. But it's probably just mainly just because I don't have the income to just go throw money into clothes and stuff for biking.
Yeah,
I only get to do it maybe once a week, and that's I have to schedule it out with my wife and make sure she's all right with it, and even then, just trying to find someone to bike with. Half the time I'm going out there by myself. So
I'll tell you, for me, I still actually have a whole closet full of Old Navy shirts. You can get them whenever it's like the end of the season for like $4 a pop, dude. That's what most of mine are. And then you have to buy shorts, and that's just one where it's like you have to grin and bear it, man. Those freaking shorts are expensive as hell, dude. I'm with you. I'm trying to get somebody that, hey, anybody out there listening want to give me some free shorts? Fuck that guy, dude. This fat guy needs more than that fat guy.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
For me, dude, honestly, I'll tell you guys all, like for me, the one thing that I would just like tickle me if I could hook up any deal at all would be with Santa Cruz, just because like they're a company that definitely doesn't in any of their advertisements like pay notice to the fat average guy. So I feel like if I could be like the fat average guy that like gets them to even like, if they give me like a $10 discount, I'll be like, I'm sponsored by Santa Cruz, I'd be stoked, I just think,
dude, I'd be happy with a an over $1,000 bike.
Right. So are you riding a used bike, a new bike? What do you got?
I'm riding a used Diamondback recoil comp. That's a 2014 model. That it does have some upgrades on it, but all the upgrades are
suspension bike or a hardtail.
Yeah, it's a full suspension bike. It's single pivot. It's very, very, very simple, and it's a cross country bike. It's not an enduro bike at all.
I'll tell you what, dude, it doesn't really matter what bike you ride, man.
First
of all, like honestly, dude, it's the engine more than it's the bike.
True.
And I rode my last bike before I had the Bronson. I had that thing for 10 years, dude. It was a single pivot bike. It did. I still have my fastest time in Downeyville on that bike. So
yeah, I just want to try, and I've never even tried an enduro bike.
Yeah,
just to see what it feels like.
Don't try one until you have more money.
Yeah.
That's the bad part about freaking going out and demoing a bike or something like that. You're like, now just fucking ruin mine.
Well, I mean, I have the money. I just, priorities, man.
Yeah, I got
the
you.
wifey
Yeah.
wants a house.
Yeah, no, I'm just yanking your chain. So, Cobra Kyle, you said you got a whole garage full of bikes. What's the 6 that you have? What kind of bikes do you got?
Well, 2 are right here. My main one's the YT Jeffsy 27, and then right behind it is a new bike. I just got it. It's a hardtail. It's a 29er. It's steel, so it's completely different to me. But I actually find myself grabbing that more. And then I have a vintage '88 Specialized Hard Rock.
That's fun.
We call it Teal Steel.
Nice.
Yeah, I wrote a song about it. So
there you go.
People love the song more than the bike. And then I have a road bike and a fat bike and a BMX that I am terrible at.
Right.
Yeah, like I get hurt every time I touch it.
There you go. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
I wouldn't even try a BMX.
Yeah.
No way.
So the YT, those are direct to consumer, right? You can't go to a shop and get those.
No, it took me 3 months to get it. I ordered it in July 2017, and it showed up in like October.
Did you like ride somebody else's? How do you go through a process of buying a bike that you've never been on?
For me, it's just a ton of research.
Yeah.
I demoed like a Santa Cruz 5010, and then just went online, got all those measurements, and compared them to similar bikes. So I did so much research. I read like every review possible on the Jeffsy, and everything seemed pretty positive. And I just pulled the trigger, and I was like, it is what it is. I don't think you can buy a bad bike at this point.
Yeah, and I think it all depends on how it's built. Dude, I read all the reviews on the Yeti SB5, and when I rode it, I didn't like it. But it wasn't built the way that I would have built it. So
yeah,
it's kind of like that was the only thing that I could think about.
Yeah, that's the one thing that for me, being 6'2", I find that I'm kind of in between a large and an XL all the time, and some XLs feel way too big, and some larges feel way too small, and I really need to be able to ride it just to get a feel for it.
God, I feel your pain, dude. I'm 6'2" as well, and I rode BMX when I was younger, so I'm used to a smaller frame. All I do, and I always end up buying a large, but all I do the entire time riding the large is think about whether or not I should have bought the XL.
Yeah, like my hardtail's an XL and my full suspension is a large. And every time I'm on the hardtail, I'm thinking, man, this is just maybe a hair too big. And every time I'm on the full suspension, I'm thinking, man, this is just a little bit too small.
Yeah, there's no way. So that bike that I told you guys I rode for 10 years, that at one point I bought, like after it's been out forever, you could find frames a dime a dozen online. And so I bought an XL frame, rebuilt it up. And I rode it out for a couple months, and I was like, no, I like the large better. So then I like sold that frame and put everything back on it, bottom of the large frame, put everything back on that. And then like a month later, I was like, man, maybe I did like the XL better. It's like, this is ridiculous. I think it's just a way for me to keep spending money. I think that's all it really comes down to.
Yeah, I think it all depends on the bike brand too. Like certain brands, their larges are bigger or smaller too.
So what are some of the other things that you guys kind of like struggle with doing your channel, things that like make you go, or where you're trying to see it go?
For me, travel, being able to travel places. I mean, I have so many people want me to go ride out west or go ride in Quebec, which is probably 10 hours east of where I am, or down in the States. And it's just the money to do it all. I'd love to go everywhere, but it just costs too much.
Yeah, definitely travel was one of those things that I thought was going to come a lot easier. And I'm like 2 years in, and I did get the money enough together to buy an EVOC bag. I got the bag. I still haven't used it. It's like the travel has definitely come along as far as like, anything that I can drive to. And I think that has been really key to my channel. It's been really like what the channel's been done for me. Is like make me look at a 3-hour drive to somewhere to go ride and think like, hey, that's a good idea because I need to go get content and I think it'll be fun. Whereas I wouldn't have done that before the channel. Brian and Vaughn just throw up a little super chat on there for the Yaman, which is a hashtag that I've done for a long time, trying to collect money to go to Jamaica. And we've been doing that Yaman hashtag for a while. And I still haven't made it to Jamaica yet. So if you guys want to super chat Yaman, get my ass to Jamaica this spring, that would be sick.
Yeah, it's like your biker camp that you do in June. I was looking at that thinking, I should drive down to that, but started to look at the map and the driving, and that's like a 30-hour drive. So I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's a long one.
Yeah.
Maybe, there's a lot of like smaller plane companies that do some like really cheap flights from certain places, and sometimes that works out. There's one that I look up all the time. It's called Allegiant, and they fly out of like rinky dink like airports instead of being the big city. It's like the little city outside of that. You can like take a regular flight from Sacramento, where I live, to Vegas for like $150, but you can do it on Allegiant from this other city that's like a half an hour away for like $30 each way.
Right.
And
I should edit my comment. With travel, what I mean specifically is because where I'm from, there's not that many good trails around. I have to drive like an hour or two just to get to a decent trail. And they're not even that decent compared to everything else I see on YouTube. So for me, that's what I mean by travel, just going to these other cool places.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in Southern California. I'm sure you have
Northern California,
I'm sure you have lots of cool stuff kind of relatively close.
Yeah, I know. I'm definitely lucky that way. I mean, there's definitely a lot here. However, keep this in mind, dude. The biggest YouTuber in our space did his channel for like 2 years in fucking Florida. So Seth's channel was like in the shittiest mountain biking place that there could possibly be, and somehow he made it happen. So it's content, it's that story.
That's the way Western PA is. I mean, there's not too many trails right around me. I mean, luckily my park just built a whole bunch of mountain bike trails they're actually halfway decent. And we also just got a pump track that's really nice. And
so what kind of things do you guys, I know you guys are probably in the don't want to tell anybody freaking down, because what kind of videos do you guys think about doing in the future? What's something you want to do that you're excited about? Nobody's giving up anything.
I mean, for me, I was kind of looking into doing like more reviews, maybe just stuff I've bought, and if I like it, I don't like it. Because as you guys were saying, like I've pretty much touched on every trail here in San Antonio. So unless I start traveling more, it's kind of hard to keep making the same content on the same trails. There's always spins you can do, but I've been looking to like stuff I have laying around the house. I'm like, oh, this might be useful to people to hear about these products.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that's key. I think that's the takeaway from like Seth, for example, is like, what can you do a video about? And I think that would help with like what Tugi was asking about earlier, like coming up with ideas. Because I kind of did that thing too when I first started. It was like every week has to be a new trail and a new place that I haven't ridden before. And it was like, fortunately, like the place that I ride a lot, Auburn, has a bunch of trails, right? Mm-hmm. But almost every ride I do, like I'm doing some of those trails in part of that ride, so it's not like I could do a whole video on this one like 2-mile section, or this 1 mile section or something like that. So I kept feeling like I was doing the same content over and over again. But here it is now, and it's like I'm like, oh well, I could do a video and talk about how I feel about these tires instead of talking about how I feel about this trail. Or I could do this video and talk about how I want to lose weight. Or I could do this video and talk about, so many different things. Instead of doing a subscriber update in my garage, I can just do this ride and then do my subscriber update like that. Except for I can, just stop every once in a while. And there's a little POV here and there and little clips that can like just make it a little bit more entertaining. Whereas like if you just did it in your garage, and you're updating your subscribers that way, like those videos never do well except for your diehards, and they're going to watch them anyway.
Yeah, that's for sure. I have a little notebook that I carry around with me, and then when I get an idea, I'll jot it down, and so I have a whole about 3 pages full of ideas.
I got I have an iPhone, so there's a little app in there called Notes, and
I know.
I put them in there, and what I never do though is like I put the ideas in there, but I actually never go back to look at the ideas, and then like a couple months later, I go to put a new idea in, and then I'm looking at the old ideas, and I'm like, oh, I did all these, so I don't know how, but it's working.
Yeah, actually, I sorry. I actually
go ahead.
did a video today, or shot a video earlier today with my girlfriend, who's a yoga instructor, and we did like sort of yoga for mountain bikers. So that's kind of a cool video. So that'll be out in a few weeks.
Right on. Mine will be out tomorrow.
I did a lot of yoga with my weight lost.
Yeah.
So, is there anything that's like really like kind of making you feel like it's holding you back?
Like I said earlier, just money to me. I mean, I kind of bought 2 bikes last year and a whole bunch of equipment and clothing and tons of money, and it's just kind of now I'm kind of tapped out.
Yeah, definitely. I can, and you're just getting into it too. So
yeah.
I mean, I can totally see that. It's not a cheap sport. Like the entry level is not cheap, and then adding the YouTube side on top of it. It's honestly, dude, I don't understand how I've spent as much fucking money as I have on this channel.
The worst is every time you go to do something new. Like I went to do downhill biking. I went to a couple of parks down in the States to do downhill biking and had to get a full face helmet, had to get pads, had to get knee pads, elbow pads, all that stuff. And, it just seems like every time you go to a different avenue of biking, it just, spending money everywhere.
Yeah, totally. And then you freaking eat shit on top of your gimbal, and then you got to buy a new one of those. And
yeah, exactly.
Just like one thing after another. You're like, oh, I got this awesome helmet. Then you crack it.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my ad for Cali right now. Cali, that's the helmet I wear the most. They have a crash replacement plan where it's free. So
I'm wearing a straight up Walmart helmet. So
hey, man, as long as you got something on your head, that's a good place to start.
And I'm too crazy when it comes to downhill. I just won't use my brakes at all. So
recently, I was riding with the lady out in this area around town, and I passed like 3 or 4 people not wearing a helmet. I was like, people still do that? Like, it just seems, I don't know, it just seems crazy to me. But I can understand how people come to that conclusion. I wore a helmet for like 10 years before I broke one. And the first time I broke one, I was like, yeah, that's why I was wearing it. Now I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Kyle? What's holding you back?
Time. I think, like Robert was saying, the other Robert was saying, it's like close to 40 hours a week probably we're putting into this, and just managing that and like somewhat of a normal life too outside of this. That's my biggest concern.
I think that's the thing that people really don't realize, how much time it takes.
Yeah.
Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, I could spend an hour and a half just trying to figure out like 3 songs to use in the background of something. It's like, why can't freaking Google just read my fucking mind and give me the one song that I want that has the chick 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 and the happy people and the clapping in it, and that's what I wanted. Why can't I can't put that in the search engine? But I mean, it's just ridiculous. Or you're like, oh, I want the sound of a toilet flushing, and you find yourself 30 minutes later, you've listened to 500 toilet flush before you're like, oh yeah, that's the one I wanted.
Oh yeah. Like in my latest like bike check video, I wanted a sound of an air raid siren. Okay. And then of course Google hits me up with, or YouTube hits me up with a copyright violation for drop the bomb on me for some reason. I was like, what?
I'll tell you right now, once you get to the point that you have an extra, I think it's like $15 a month, use one of those sound services. I think the one I use is, I can't think of who the hell it is.
Epidemic?
Yeah, that's the one I'm using.
Yeah.
I just signed up for them too. Yeah.
I put it off forever too, man, because I'm like, fuck that, dude. This shit is free. I'm paying for that. And I would use the stuff on YouTube, and then I'd hear it on like 27 other people's videos. And then I'd spend 16 hours trying to find the one free freaking toilet flush sound instead of the one that I could just. So honestly, it saved me a handful of time. I will still say the search on there is not like on point, but it will save you some time. And then plus, like, because they have so much there, it's less likely that you'll hear your music on somebody else's video too. And I don't know if that really matters, but it does to you whenever you hear it and you're like, oh, I use that.
Oh yeah, it drives me nuts that I have the same songs as 50 million other people.
It's crazy though when you see some big channel, like there's some, like I'll be watching some channel that's got like 30 million freaking subscribers, and I'll hear that song, I'll be like, dude, really? 30 million subscribers can't pay for music? You cheap
Exactly. Yeah, there's a group of these two young guys that rebuilds cars that I'm really into, and they're using some of the same songs. I'm like, really?
Yeah, it's hilarious. So, what would success look to you guys like in a year? Like what is, because all three of you guys, two of you guys are just over $1,000, and then I think Fat Guy's still like 800, something like that.
Yeah, I just crossed over 800.
So what's success look to you? What would be in your mind right now, a year from now, if you were watching this video or listening to this podcast? What would be like, man, I did what I wanted to.
For me personally, like getting to 1,000 in 9 months or so, I don't know. I'm like 2,500 or so would be good for me for subscriber wise, and just being able to put out a video every week and people watching it would be successful for me.
So a little bit more than doubling your growth in another year, you'd be stoked with that. How about you, Cobra Cow?
I agree with Toogie. I think that's a good number, and I just want to focus on this like being fun to me still. I think that's a good measure of success. If you enjoy what you do and you can do it, even if you're not getting paid for it, I'm still having a good time. So maybe seeing a little income out of it eventually.
Yeah.
You know, just to pay for some parts and stuff would be amazing. So let's keep pushing.
How about the Fat Guy?
So I would just love to be monetized. I mean, even if it is as little as it is, you know, I mean, my goal for 2019 was 1,000 subscribers. I mean, I'm probably going to get that within the next few weeks here.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, I mean, I'm still at the way below the 4,000 hour threshold, but I just don't have the content out there to actually get the, I mean, I only have 20 videos right now because I've only been doing this for 3 months.
Yeah, I guess over time that probably helps, but people don't watch the older videos as much as you would think they do.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
no,
it really has a lot to do with new content.
And I don't really want people to watch the older videos.
Yeah. Believe me, we all feel that way.
So I have a question for Robert.
Sure.
Biker Robert. And recently you said you turned off your ads on YouTube. I'm just curious why you did that.
You know what? You know, Jordan Byron's on here. He said something similar on one of his last videos as well. I haven't had a chance to talk to him about why. I fucking hate ads, man. I really do. And I didn't feel like they were really doing much for me. And like the monetization side of YouTube really is like, at least at the size of a channel that I am, like Patreon. If you had like 10 people on Patreon, you're probably gonna make more money on that than you are on ads on YouTube. And I think realistically, I still have the ad that's at the beginning, and I check the one that's at the end of the video because most people click on something else. So if they click on something else, they're never going to see that end video. And if they just walk away, then it's going to play. So I feel like that one's like a gimme. And I feel like the one at the front end, like everybody's used to seeing that one anyway, so it's fine. And I felt like, I tried it before where it was like one video or one ad in the middle, and I was like, well, if you're on Patreon, you don't get any ads. And I was like, that's dumb too. And then I had it for a while where it was like I always did one within the first 5 minutes because I could see like most of my videos was like 8-9 minutes before people would drop off. So I was like, if I got one right there, then maybe. And honestly, I just don't really feel like it adds a whole lot. I feel like people just being like more enrolled in your channel and who you are and wanting to support you in other ways, I feel like is more valuable. And that's where I was like, like I would rather like you guys like really dig my channel and want to support me for $1 a month on Patreon, and where you could get some coupons that are going to save you $60 in a year, maybe. It's like to me, I feel like that's cool. And just, I don't know, man. Like it's a time suck, dude. It's a time suck to figure out even where to put those fucking things. You got to go back through, and you're like, oh, you got to get it lined up exactly. And like, I don't know. Like, is it really like we're like how many people are really clicking on something? Like, because I don't know exactly. I actually am not like one of those people that really does a lot of research on shit. So I think you get some kind of like price for people watching the ad the whole way through, or then you get some kind of thing if they click on it. And both of those circumstances, I really feel like are like next to none. So like,
unless you're a mountain biker that creates an ad.
Yeah. It's just like pointless, you know? So
yeah, I have probably one of the best ads for your guys' videos. I mean, most of my ad, I think it has like a watch time of over, I think it's 70%. So it's kind of awesome, but it sucks for my wallet.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm going to be looking into tomorrow is how to do my own ad.
I personally, like, I disagree, man. I don't think you want to do that. I think you want to like get your people organically. But I mean, I'm not saying that he's doing it wrong, you know, at all. I'm just saying that's just my personal opinion.
Sure,
when I first saw it,
sure.
Yeah, you're gonna see all my fucking ads tomorrow. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I just personally,
I used to work for the government, right?
Son of a bitch. That's probably why you're here in the first place. You're like, hey, he's been on our radar for a while. Let's get this fucker. No, I just feel like, you know, like, I don't know, man. Actually, as I'm saying it, it's like I'm going back and forth on it in my head. Just because, like, ultimately, the hardest part of YouTube is getting known, is like getting recognized. So, like, you paying for the ad on that hand is like, dude, you're just freaking, you're getting yourself out in front of people more. I would just be really concerned that I wasn't getting myself like people that really wanted to be part of what I am. But I mean, your ad is really just a video of your channel, so
yeah.
But on the other hand, then what's it going to be worth though if like everybody starts doing that? You know, I don't know.
And that's what I was thinking. I got the idea because I was watching. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Nick Nimmin on YouTube.
No.
He's basically, you know, shows you how to do YouTube. You know, actually be successful doing it.
Yeah.
Well,
he probably
someone said
an ebook that you can buy too.
Yeah. Well, someone said something.
Some extra videos.
Yeah. Someone said something about doing their trailer for ads, so I was like, "What
Did
the hell?"
He say click this link to buy your ad from YouTube? Is that what he said?
Pretty much.
So go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just fucking.
But yeah, I just figured, hey, I haven't seen any ads for another mountain bike channel. I might as well do it. And I have a story that I would like known for people. I mean, how many people have lost their wife and son, came back from that, lost almost 100 pounds, and, trying to be a better mountain biker on top of it.
Have you talked about that on your channel?
A little bit.
I'm going to ask you because that's just the type of person I am.
So no, that's fine.
Tell me if you don't want to talk about how did you lose your wife and your son?
So my wife, Jill, she was actually
that joke didn't go well.
Nah, she was 9 months pregnant, and she actually had a brain aneurysm while she was sleeping.
Oh my! Dude,
so
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, it was. So I mean, she was actually due to be induced that week.
Mm-hmm.
So I lost my son Holden and Jill, and of course, I had to find and I had to try to save her, and deal with 911. And then
how long ago was that?
That was back in 2009.
2009. So part of this is therapy for you.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's extremely relaxing for me. Even my wife, and God bless her. I mean, she hates when I go mountain biking because I'm leaving her with my crazy children. But she knows that it's the one of the few things that will really relax me.
Right on, man. I'll tell you right now, dude, the more that you talk about that on your channel, and it's not like selling out or like monopolizing on that, but the more that you're honest with people about who you are and what you're about, that's the shit that grabs people.
And I think that's why I don't like talking about it that much, because I don't want to get that pity vote. How many people watch those stories on like, America's Got Talent and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they exploit that. And and even though I am kind of exploiting it with my ad, because I mentioned that in my trailer and everything, I don't really embellish on it and say exactly what happened.
I don't necessarily think it's exploiting it if you're talking about how you feel about it.
Yes,
and that's the thing. That's the difference. The difference is like like fucking click on this button because I lost my wife, or click on this button because you can relate with me. You know what I mean? Like that's the difference.
And I mean, after that happened, I mean, I went into a dark spiral. I mean, I quit my job. I was basically, homeless for almost a year. And then, I came back to my hometown because at that time I was living in the DC area. So like I said, I was working for the government and stuff.
Son of a bitch. That's what I was just going to say.
And then I moved back to, my hometown and actually started talking with someone that I went to high school with and ended up marrying her. And we have the 2 kids.
Life has a funny way of throwing you some twists and turns.
Yes.
I always say like the worst things that have happened in my life, sometime in the future, I've always looked back on and been like, man, I'm actually like glad or happy that happened. Like it sculpted me to who I am, or changed my perception on life or whatever. And I think that struggle is important, because I think
absolutely.
If you don't have that, it's not.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the whole premise. I mean, I really, and it's not even just about losing weight on my channel. It's just about, doing something that you're uncomfortable with. I mean, as every one of you guys can say, I mean, the whole YouTube thing's uncomfortable to begin with.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking to a camera, you're basically talking to yourself. And half the time I don't even know what I'm saying to the camera. And then I'm watching the video back and you're like, what the heck did I say this for?
That's the worst, when you're like in a parking lot at a trailhead or whatever, and you're talking to the GoPro and you're like, people are looking at you, or I'm trying to do it like behind the car so people don't see me.
Yep.
Yeah. Try having an intro like mine.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever even seen your intro.
It definitely. What's up, YouTube? This is Robert. This is Biker Jam. Like,
dude, but that's what turned me on to you, because you're crazy.
But it's definitely not one that you can do quietly and not in front of anybody, like, so no, I totally get that. That's a good thing to bring up though to you, is like, when you're starting, there's a like an embarrassment factor. I think that Cobra Kyle was touching on that earlier. I have a few other friends that have channels that really started out like not talking at all, and they're moving along, but like that part of like just being kind of like out there, but even like aside from being out there on the video, but being out there like in the trailhead, you're just standing around like talking to some camera, like people are like, who's this dipshit think he is?
Yeah. And the worst is when I go out with people, especially before, like, people sort of got to know that I was doing a YouTube channel, so it was kind of expected. But early on in the year, I'd go riding with somebody and they didn't know I was doing this, and they're like, "What? Like, what are you doing? Who are you talking to? Like, what? Like, what's going on?"
I mean, I was embarrassed by it from the beginning. I mean, it was I think a month in before I even told my wife that I was doing it.
Cobra Kyle was about to say something. What were you going to say?
Oh, I was actually going to ask, like, all you guys kind of that question, like, how much do you keep your YouTube life like separate from your personal life? Because for me, for example, like, I don't tell anyone at work about this. They don't know about this. So, I mean, what do you guys think of that?
I mean, people I ride with, they all know, but as far as work and stuff, nobody has any idea, pretty much. I guess I have a sticker on my car. They could look that up, but that's about it.
I talk to everybody about it.
Yeah, I just recently started telling people at work, and I have a sticker on my truck as well, but I park out in no man's land because I am trying to lose weight. So, I mean, but like I said, I just started recently telling people and my family. So
my lady would have freaking paid me money to shut the fuck up about it whenever I first started, because that's all I talked about. She's like, how do I know all these people that you're talking about? Like, how do I know who freaking Seth is? And how do I know who Alex is and Brian? Like, she's like, this is ridiculous. And that's all I wanted to talk about, because I have this like all or nothing personality. So it was like, she'd be like talking about like, oh, did you try that wine that we had up there in Napa? And I'd be like, yeah. So Brian did this on his channel today. And she's like, shut the fuck up, man.
Oh, speaking of wine, when I was out in Tahoe, we could not find a good wine whatsoever.
You must have been looking in the wrong places, man. We got a lot of wine in California.
Oh, yes, you do. But yeah, we did not. That's where we had our honeymoon. So.
Oh, right on. So you have to have another honeymoon now, and she'll be like, "Oh, you're just trying to ride. I see what's going on."
Exactly.
Biker camp's right around the end of June. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, I would love to get out there for biker camp, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I'll make it a goal for next year.
So for me, talking on the camera while I was riding was not a problem at all. But I know that's something that's hard for a lot of people. What have you guys done to, like, if you've had problems with that, or like Cobra Kyle, for example, you said you're trying to kind of come out of that.
Mhm.
What is it that you're doing in order to get yourself to, like, throw the commentary out there?
I'm just starting to, like, accept, this is what I do, and people are going to find out about it, and I think they connect more with channels who are more open to talking in person, because all my videos are voiceover with a few pieces of me talking on the trail. But a lot of people don't even pay attention to what you're doing. The people that pass by you, they're probably wearing headphones anyways, listening to music, or they're hanging out with their friends. They're not paying attention to what you're saying anyways. So it's just a matter of doing it.
Yeah, totally. I think, once again, to call Seth out again. I mean, Seth does all voiceovers.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
I wasn't sure, honestly. Like, when I first started watching it, I thought he did it just so that he could, like, write them all out, and then it was easier to have them, like, translated and all this and that and the other. And I think it's just that maybe it's a control thing for him or whatever, or maybe he's just not a person that's good at off the cuff, so that you can have that, you can really tell the story that you want to tell afterwards too. So
right.
Don't put all the pressure on yourself that you have to be like some kind of charismatic type of personality or whatever. I think it's really just relating, what your thoughts are,
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely thought about doing more voiceover, just because, I mean, on the trail, I try to basically, if I'm thinking something in my head, I'll say it out loud just so I have it on camera. But there's a lot of times I'll look back and watch the video and think I should have said this or should have said that. And voiceovers, I think I need to look into that a little bit more.
I'm new to the voiceover game myself, dude. And honestly, like, that's one of the things that I've like really kind of learned from it, was that, wow, I can really add that in right now. Mm-hmm. And then learn, like, the more that you put voiceovers into your videos, the more that you realize that, like, how to do it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can just, like, have the volume gone, and even though I'm standing in front of the camera talking and you can tell I'm talking, I can still put a voiceover over it to say what I want it to say, and they're just watching that. It doesn't matter that that's what's playing in the background. Mm-hmm. I think a good way to do that is just, like, look at other people's content, and see how they're doing it.
Oh yeah, I'm a fan of everyone's content, and everyone does their own thing. I mean, Alex, he's basically all, recording on the fly, and then Seth basically does all voiceover. I mean, I try to mix it up, because the problem with me doing voiceover is the energy, and I even try to fix that by standing up and projecting and everything, and everybody's like, oh, you still sound like you're too monotone. But it's just I try different things, and I think the best result for me is when I actually have it all written down. And that's another reason why I spend a lot of time on the channel when I do the voiceovers. I actually have to, type everything out and what I'm going to say, because if I don't, then I'm really messed up.
Yeah, for the voiceovers, for a long time, I just would watch the video and just talk. Like I said, I'm fortunate that I'm good at just gabbing, but I have noticed lately, what I've started to do is write what I want to say. That way I can actually kind of read-ish it while I'm talking. So it keeps me to, like, remember all the points that I wanted to say. Because what would happen would be, like, I would watch it and I'd say it, and then I'd be like, oh crap, I forgot to say it again. So it gives me kind of like something. So I just write it down in, like, a notepad as I'm watching it. It also helps me, like, get the right amount of time. So then I can say, oh, I know I want to say this about the area that I'm riding on while I got this drone shot, for example, right? So if I record that, what I wanted to say, now I know that I need, like, 30 seconds of that drone shot, right? So whereas before I would put the drone shot clip in there and then later try to, like, get the talking to the right amount for the drone shot that I had in there, and it just ended up making things a lot harder.
Right. Now, I noticed in the comments here, people are saying like Seth is an introvert, so pretty much the polar opposite of you, Robert. But I'm sort of an introvert myself, and that's sort of the struggle I have trying to be more different than what I really am in real life on the video. So I don't know if you other guys do like Kyle and Robert struggle with that as well.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a really like dry person. Have like a really dry sense of humor, so that's why it's hard for me to be on a trail and act all like excited. I'm a pretty calm person, so that's why I just do the voiceover, because I can control my voice a little more and kind of make it sound like how I need to for the video.
See, this is the thing though, dude, I'm trying to tell you guys, you don't need to be excited. Like, yeah, maybe you guys watch my channel and you're like, that guy's fucking funny or whatever, like Bobo, like just like it's wild, it's whatever.
Oh, when I'm having a bad day, I watch you, Robert, because you're
but you don't need to do that though. You know what I mean? Like really, like a lot, like I hate to keep bringing Seth up, but he does a lot of voiceovers. I mean, like listen to his stuff. There's not a whole lot of like excitement in most of what he's saying. Like he's reading it, you know, you can tell, you know. Yeah. I think it's really just, you know, it's really painting that picture of how you feel about it.
Yeah, I just find it, I mean, it's hard for me to do voiceover. I mean, and I mean, I know that you're supposed to have the energy, because that was one of the main complaints I got when I was, you know, first starting out. Oh, you don't have energy in your voiceover. And it's hard not to, you know, take criticism, you know, when you're starting something out. So, you know, you're trying to better yourself with each video, like I said, and you have to just try something different. And
so how do you guys deal with that whenever you get a comment that's just shitty?
I was gonna ask you the same thing. Yeah, you'll have a video and somebody say, "Oh, the music sucks" or whatever, and you'll be like, "Oh my god, I'm never gonna put music in a video again."
Yeah.
But just sort of like, how do you deal with those negative comments? I mean, you might get like 20 positive comments and 1 negative comment, and that's all you worry about is that negative comment. Whatever they said, you're like, I'm never going to do that again. But it might not even have mattered, but because somebody said something, that's all you can think about.
Yeah, for me, I'm too stupid to fucking recognize it. So like people will be like, dude, you're such a fat ass. I'm like, I know, right? You know, you're like, I can't believe you said that. You must be a homo. And I'm like, I love fucking dick. No, it's like whatever. It's like I don't know. I always kind of just blow most of it off.
Yeah.
And sometimes like people will say shit and I'll say something ignorant back, like joking around. And I'm like, maybe they were fucking just being serious. Maybe they weren't. And then sometimes like a few comments later, they'll say something. I'll realize that no, they just had a super dry ass sense of humor too, you know?
Yeah.
Or
like I got a comment the other day. It said something like, I want my 6 minutes back.
Yeah.
And that was pretty harsh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the kind of, I mean, have fun with that shit, man. Obviously,
well, that's what I do is I usually just turn it into a positive. Well, here's your 6 minutes back.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Just give them a link to like a Rickroll, dude, and be like, all right, check this out. You know, like, so I don't know. I think that I knew somebody was going to say it. He said, I just showed up, heard Robert say you love sucking dick. Boom, YouTube gold, motherfucker. Oh Lord. Yeah, I knew it. And now it's on the internet forever. So that's why I fucking delete all my live streams now. I think, you know, I'll tell you guys, I have feelings too, man. Every once in a while something will get to me or whatever. But I think at the end of the day, you just got to remember, like A, you're never going to make everybody happy. And B, like, some people are just trolls, right? They're just looking to dig into somebody because maybe they're insecure about something themselves, or like, you know, who gives a shit, man? I mean, if you got 35 people telling you thumbs up and you got the one dickhead that wants to hit thumbs down, let me see there, thumbs down, right? I'm gonna get nope, no thumbs down. I know some of my friends are probably hitting the button right now, dickheads.
Yeah, by the way, hit the like button.
Right. So, but I mean, I think that, you know, to like use the positive to reinforce why the negative means nothing, because you're always going to get negative. There's no way you're not. I mean, go to these guys that have like 30 million freaking views on their video, and you'll still see it's like 100,000 thumbs down. You're like, are you serious? There's 100,000 people that were like that irritated. I don't even understand what that button's there for. Like, it's like some kind of.
Have you ever seen a kid's video?
Right? What's that?
Have you ever seen kids' videos?
Oh, what are they like?
Oh, they are terrible.
Yeah.
I just give a 2 or 3 year old an iPad, and you will hate your life.
That's hilarious. Yeah. So, I mean, either way, I mean, I think that's the thing is really just roll over it. It doesn't mean anything. And I know that's so easier said than done, but the more you do your channel, the more comments that you'll get or emails that you'll get from people that like where you made a difference in their life. And those are worth, you know, a million bad comments.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, even now, like every time I get a notification on my phone that somebody's commented on my video, my initial reaction is like, oh God, hopefully it's not a bad comment. Before I've even read it, I just don't want to, I don't know why. Like I might only get like, you know, 2% bad comments, but every time I look, I'm expecting a bad comment.
Yeah.
I'm as soon as I get a comment, I'm, you know, pulling up my phone and typing back. Even my wife makes fun of me. She's like, oh, there you go. Typing again. And
so how do you deal with that? I mean, because that's something that's actually a problem with a lot of us, especially when you're starting a channel, is like, how do you separate that YouTube time from your life? I did the same thing, man. And the more comments that you get and the more subscribers and the more like social media platforms that you're using, you have more comments to deal with. Like,
yeah. And I figured, you know, if this, you know, channel does get to the size of like, you know, daily mountain biker, and there's not going to be a time where I can't respond to everybody. I mean, it's just but I'm going to try to respond to everyone that's put a thought behind their comment. And you know, unless they say like something like good video or something like that. But
I respond to everybody just because I don't really have a life. So
yeah.
I'm like, oh God, I need more friends.
I say the same thing, Robert.
So somebody's asking on here, what do you guys do for a living? I think we talked about Tugi. Are you still a photographer? Or?
I sort of do photography part-time, but I work sort of in the IT industry full-time.
What kind of IT do you do?
Software development manager, basically.
Okay,
so
cool.
Yeah.
So programming kind of stuff.
Sort of. I actually don't do the programming. I kind of like the go-between between the programmers and the end users.
Right on.
Yeah.
You're a translator.
Yes.
Yeah. How about you, Cobra Kyle?
I'm actually in sales, which is quite ironic because I just said like 3 minutes ago how I'm an introvert and everything. So yeah, I'm actually in sales for an audio visual company.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
And Fat Guy?
I am an IT guy.
Seems like IT is like the common thread with a lot of YouTubers.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unfortunately it's not a job I like doing. It was a job that I'm good at doing.
What kind of IT do you do?
I'm basically just a PC support guy.
Okay.
But I'm basically, you know, in charge of over 1,800 computers for my company. So
right you're keeping people making money, dude. That's not a basic problem or like job. Like it's really actually a pretty important one. I think everybody's job is really important, and that for whatever reason, people in society like to pick ones that they think are more important than the other. But like the dude that's emptying the trash cans at the hospital is just as important as the people saving lives, because otherwise the trash cans would be full. The hospital would be full of trash, full of germs, full like it's like seriously, it's the same fucking thing, man. Everybody has their part, so don't ever downplay, you know, what you're doing, like what your part is. And I think that's part of like, you know, smaller YouTuber channel, like starting out too, is like remember that, you know, your place is still in part of this community. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know,
that's a question I had for you, sort of like backing up when you talked about Patreon and sort of like when did you start your Patreon page?
You know, I think I had the same problem that I try to talk a lot of other people out of. I had this, like, I felt like I needed to be at a certain number before like it was right to do that. And one of these other guys that's local here is Mountain Biking Adventures. I don't know if you guys watch his channel, but
Yeah.
he started his Patreon at like 300 subs. He was like, dude, I don't care. I'm just trying to learn how to do it. And honestly, I really think that his approach is best because like if you have people that want to support you, then what does it matter what the number is? You know, like if like you're, like I said earlier, I mean, you're definitely going to make more money. If somebody's giving you $1 on Patreon, like it's going to take you like 1,000 views or 2,000 views or something like that to get $1 on ads and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Like why cut yourself off, you know? And if you have the time or you feel like you can provide something to those people, or even if you don't have anything to provide to them and you just set it up as like, hey man, this is my tip jar, dude, just help me out. And you know, and I appreciate that. I think that the right time to start a Patreon is like whenever you feel like it's right for you.
Now, when you started that, did you promote it? Because I mean, I've started a Patreon page, but I don't really promote it, so nobody's found it.
Yeah,
but,
you know, I think I did a video whenever I first started mine. It was like, hey,
Yeah.
you know, it was like a subscriber update. It was like, hey, I'm doing Patreon now, and this is one of those things that's really tough with doing YouTube. At least for me, it has been, is like how to like self promote and not feel like you're like fucking being a leech, you know, like,
Right.
hey, come over here, sign my Patreon, go to my Instagram. Like I hate saying subscribe to my channel. I didn't do it for a long time, a really, really long time. I hate saying freaking hit the thumbs up button because it annoys the shit out of me when I hear other people say it. But I've gotten to a point where it's like, if I don't say that, then I also can't be upset that my channel's not growing that well, because when you tell people, they do it. Like, and it's not like people are all out there like a bunch of fucking zombies just looking for, you know, brains, and you're like, oh, they're over here, you know, like it's just that, you know, when people are reminded of things, they're like, oh yeah, that's right, that's why I do it. I told Brian from BKXE the last time I was talking to him, or one of the last times I was talking to him, how much I hate hitting the, like telling like people to subscribe. But on the other hand, like he was the first mountain bike YouTuber that got me to like, actually I had to make a YouTube account so that I could subscribe to his channel, because he was explaining it like, hey, you know, this like really makes me happy, or it like really shows me that the channel is growing. And I was like, you know what, this guy's brought me a bunch of happiness, or like fucking, you know, ate up a bunch of my time. I need back all 6 minutes of it, you know, like, and but you know, it was like, oh yeah, that's actually what motivated me. And here I am bitching about how I hate hearing it, but I think that it works, you know.
Yeah,
so.
I hate saying it, but unfortunately the way that the algorithm is, it feeds off of that. I mean, it feeds off of the thumbs up. It feeds off of how many comments you have and how you respond to the comments. And I think that's how my channel has grown. I mean, it's not quickly, but it's grown, you know, and I do have, I believe, a good following that I like to listen to these guys' stories. I like to, you know, listen to what they have to say.
For me, I feel like I just need it. I like coming up with like the best ways that I can say it without feeling like I'm just saying it. So like, if you notice, like a single track sampler, he has like a new kind of outro that he's doing. He's like,
yep,
do this. If you haven't done none of those, I don't give a fuck. Like, he probably says it better than that, but you know, like, but I like that, you know, I'm like, okay, I like that. Like the last couple of shows I heard on somebody else's channel that they were like, yeah, if you want to hit the thumbs down button, go for it, hit it twice. Like, obviously if you hit it twice, it unthumbs down it, right? So it's like, I was like, that's fucking funny, I can do that, you know. Or like, you know, they're like, there's another guy that was like on his channel was like, you know, okay, check this out, everybody, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and click on the next video, I'm done, you know, it's all good. And then of course now people are going to listen, and then he's like, hey, I just want to thank all you guys for being subscribers, and I really appreciate that. I'm like, okay, I can do that. Like, so I think it's like, find like ways that you don't feel like you're compromising who you are to do it, you know. And you know, honesty is key, you know. It's just like the same thing with Patreon. When I'm asking people to go to my Patreon, it's like, look, man, this is what I got. This, you know, but at the end of the day, like, yeah, you're trying to buy bike parts for me, or you're trying to like put beer in my beer fridge. But
yeah, I think that's the hardest part of me. I just don't, like asking people for money. I hate it. I hate it with a
I
passion.
don't think anybody likes it. I mean, except for like TV evangelists or something like that, right?
True that.
How about you, Cobra Kyle? Have you considered doing Patreon?
Honestly, not yet. I've been thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know what extra value I could provide. I still have to figure that out because the way it goes as it is, like getting one video a week out is difficult enough for me. So trying to do like an extra one or make a longer cut, to me, I'm just like, I don't know if anyone would actually pay for that at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But it's something I'm still considering.
I think people that are really fans, they actually don't really care about whatever it is that you're offering.
Mm.
They're really doing it to support you.
To help you out, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could make a sticker pack. That's pretty easy to do. The one that I always talk to people about when they're like, "Oh, make a longer cut." I'm like, "Dude, you're already making a longer cut."
Mm.
That's what I do. I mean, when I go through my videos, like almost every single time that I go through like a POV ride, like the first time that I go through it, it's like 30 minutes to 45 minutes, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So just render that. And then there's your rough cut. You know, you call it a long cut or a rough cut or whatever, but just render that. And then now you have content that you can provide, and then you're just going back through. And sometimes there's a lot of story that's told in that, or a lot of like little tidbits that people enjoy seeing. And sometimes it's not. You know, it surprises me. It really surprises me how many people watch those. And
yeah, I cut out a lot of swearing
on my channel.
I try not to swear.
Huh?
I try not to swear on my channel because I want to be kind of advertiser friendly when I get to that point. But I mean, I do cut out a lot of swearing.
Yeah. The advertiser friendly doesn't matter. I mean, honestly, dude, look at me like a Bobo. Like, obviously, we're not getting advertisers on our channel. I've actually never been dinged, you know? So, like, I think that people are a little more hypersensitive about that than they should be. But on the other hand, I will say that content-wise, subscribers, I have definitely had a shit ton of people tell me that they wish that I didn't cuss as much, or tell me that this joke that I said is really inappropriate because it offended this person or that person. And, you know, everybody has their own thing that they want to do with their channel. My channel is, I'm not compromising who I am. So if my channel fucking completely fails, then fuck it. And so
yeah,
I'm kind of going for just this is the person I am, you know?
Right.
I think that's
you got to be true to yourself.
I think that's what's tough with YouTube. Like when I heard you guys earlier talking about like, oh, I need to be more energetic or whatever. And it's like, no, dude, just be who you are, man. Just really be who you are, because people will see through that, or like it just won't feel good to you, you know? Like if I stopped completely, like every time I've been trying lately, actually, I've been trying to like cut out some of the F-bombs. And when I do it, I'm like, this is stupid. This is fucking bullshit. Like I'm bitching at myself about it. You know, I'm like, I'm not doing that. I can't handle it, you know? Right. But I mean, it depends on what your goal is, you know, what's your goal, you know?
Right. I cuss quite a bit in my videos, but I try to like bleep them out because I know my mom will watch it eventually.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to hear that. So I'm just like, all right, I'll cut that out. But it is like a natural thing. Like if you're almost following it, it's like, oh shit, like I want to say it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, people will be like, man, I wish you cussed less. I'm like, dude, you should have seen the rough cut. I did cut out a shit ton of them.
Yeah.
One of my son's favorite videos is the one I cuss in.
So you guys can't talk for a minute while I get a beer? Jesus.
Well, I didn't know what the heck you were doing.
Just like that, man. Everybody, the whole show falls apart.
Yeah. I thought he was getting up to take a leak.
Yeah, you guys are like, that's it, he's gone. So let's see here. I asked, did I ask all three of you what success was in the year? Did everybody say?
I didn't say.
Oh.
Well, let's hear it.
I think mine would probably be to have more subscribers than my company.
Mm-hmm.
So
how many subscribers does your company have?
They only have 1,700. So
you got a year to do. I mean, it seems like you're on the track. Are you going to keep paying for that ad? Do you think it's worth it?
No.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't like me paying for that, but
yeah,
I just want to get to that point where I'm at the 1,000, I think, and then I can work on the watch time.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to tell you right now. I told this, I think it was Tugi I was talking to on Patreon or Instagram. You're never going to like get past having a goal that you're trying to get to.
Yeah. Well, no, I know that. I know that. I mean, the ultimate goal is to actually do this full time. I absolutely love doing this. I mean,
I think everybody
absolutely love
does.
it.
I mean, I don't think you do a job for free if you don't love it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's for sure. Because I mean, we put so much time and effort into this, and people just can't realize that.
I think
there goes my wife saying no to ads.
Right.
She's actually in the chat.
No, I see her on there. I think that it's tough. I like so many of us want to do this full time, you know, and I think for me, like recently or lately, what I've been trying to do is actually like be realistic with myself that like for this to be a full-time gig, I'm not being a viral star, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to like teach myself to accept what I have as like what I'm happy about, you know, because otherwise I'll burn out, you know.
Right.
So I think that, you know, I'm not saying that the aspiration for my channel to get bigger is not still there, or that like I wouldn't still love for it to fucking blow up overnight and me to just give everybody in the world a big fuck you, and I can sit out here in the garage and get drunk all and live stream all day long and be rich for that. That'd be great. No, but I think that I really had to get to a point for me personally that like I've been doing this for 2 years. I have like a little over 6,000 subscribers. I'm not quitting my job anytime soon.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not trying to rain on your parade, brother. You know what I mean? Like not at all. I'm just trying to talk to people about like my journey, you know?
Right. Now, speaking of that, like, just wanted to ask you that, like, so myself reaching 1,000 subscribers, you're starting to think, well, you know, maybe you can do this, or maybe something will happen. But for somebody like you've sort of been through all this. Do you ever sort of have to like step back, like you said, and like, you know, it's not going to happen, or maybe not, it's not going to happen, but, reality check, I guess. Do you ever get a little bit?
I think that's what I'm going through right now,
Yeah.
dude. Is like, you know, just realizing like, look how long I've done this, you know, like,
Yeah.
like when Brian or Alex, you know, for example, had done it for 2 years, they were at like 100,000 subscribers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 100,000 subscribers, you're making a fair amount of money. You know, you're not like freaking like walking in the club and making it rain. But depending on what you made beforehand or what your quality of life is, that could be enough that you survive on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe for some people 50,000 is enough, you know, but 10,000 isn't, 5,000 isn't, you know, 20,000 isn't, but all of those numbers are like numbers that are like, man, that's a pretty decent side gig, you know, that you can do. But on the other hand, I think that at that point you're still just doing it because you enjoy it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And,
now didn't you have like sort of like a burnout period or something? Like, I remember watching your channel saying you kind of took a break from it, but then didn't sort of tell people, like what was that all about?
Yeah, I've done it more than once actually.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the one that you're talking about was more, it was like right after Downeyville and everything last year, like had all these YouTubers come out to my house. So like every weekend I had a different YouTuber, like a guest staying at my house. And then it was like, I was just like my first year, man, I was easily like what Fat Guy was saying, like 40 hours plus, like on my channel. Like everything I talked about was my channel. Everything that I wasn't paying attention to my family as much. I definitely wasn't paying attention to my old lady as much. And right after like Downeyville and all that stuff happened, like I got to this point where I didn't have any commitments, you know, like the last person that was supposed to come to my house came and went, and I got that video out, and it was like, I can't fucking do this. Like, I just needed like a break. And I kept just telling myself, well, I'm going to make that video next week, or I'm going to do whatever tomorrow. And instead of like actually doing those things, I just kept building more anxiety about doing them, you know? it just was like, I just watched like everything, just like I watched my view count just drop. Subscriber count doesn't really change too much in a situation like that. Like, I think you just have to piss people off to get them to unsub or something like that. But like my Patreon dropped a bunch of people, and I thought I like whenever I was doing a video, I thought I was like being able to like kind of like pull the wool over people's eyes, so to speak. And that's the part where I was talking about earlier, where I learned out of that was just like really just be honest, and just if you get on and you just tell people about like that's how you're feeling, and maybe it is just like a cut of you climbing up a hill talking about it, like that means a lot to people.
Mhm.
And for me to get out of it, like what is it that you do to get out of it? I think sometimes you just need a break. And like actually the last couple of weeks I haven't put out a POV video. And I've been meaning to talk to people about it, but I haven't. At the end of the day, it's like, dude, it's like practically still doing this for free. So it's like, it's hard to have like, on one hand, you're like, I have to do this. But I think whenever I got to a point where I'm like, dude, this is supposed to be fun for me. And obviously I'm not changing, like, this is not going to pay my bills like anytime soon. Like it still wouldn't even barely pay my car payment, like, so like I'm making a few bucks. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you guys see I got people on Patreon and stuff like that, but it's definitely not like, what I thought it was going to be in 2 years. You know what I mean? So I think everybody's journey is different, and I think it's definitely like, I think it's a journey of like kind of almost like self-discovery, And for me, I'm at a point right now where I'm like, I love it. I don't want it to stop. I want to keep doing it. I want to keep like changing what I'm doing and continuing like being part of this community. I love being part of the community as far as like the other YouTubers, or even just as far as like the mountain bikers and stuff, like it's really fun to be part of. So I'm not changing that, but I think I needed to really kind of set my head right. Like for me personally is like, I do IT, dude. You guys know, like there's some pretty good money in IT, right?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
So for that to like, for me to get to a point, and I live in California, it's fucking expensive as fuck out here, man.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I lived back home in Pennsylvania, it'd be a little, the bar wouldn't be as high as it is out here in California. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
are you saying my bar isn't high, Robert?
No, I'm just saying your cost of living is definitely cheaper.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I know what the houses cost there. You know what I mean? So I think it's just a matter of kind of like, where what is it going to be for you?
I actually think my house cost less than my truck was new. So
yeah, I wish I could say that, man. That would be awesome. How about you guys? I mean, so that guy says he'd love to make a career out of it. How about both of you guys?
I mean, sure, that'd be awesome, but I don't think realistically that would ever happen. But I would just love to have a little bit of a supplement for all the expense that I've been putting into this to offset that a little bit.
Yeah. I keep thinking that I'm going to get to a point where I stop spending money on the channel. I really do. I keep thinking like, oh yeah, dude, I just need to buy this one more mic and this stupid thing mirror.
Yeah.
And then after that, then it'll be it. Like, oh wait, I just need these studio lights here so that actually looks good when I'm doing. And then you know what it is next week? It's like, oh, somebody's like, oh, I'm gonna do Biker Bar in your garage. I'm like, oh fuck, now I need another mic. So it's like it doesn't seem like it stops. I'm wondering when there's that tipping point where I actually have all the shit that I need for this channel. How about you guys? Do you guys feel like you're constantly looking at something else to buy in regards to the channel?
All the time.
Oh yeah.
Usually for me it's like bikes, because I justify buying a new bike as, oh, I can make a video on this, which will help grow the channel, and that's how you end up with 6 bikes and that I can't ride all at once. So but yeah, I'm always looking at new camera gear, bike parts, all kinds of stuff. Just something to create content with.
Yeah. I think that people that do YouTube too, like we're like kind of like tinkering type of like gadget people or something like that, where all this is really doing is just a way for us to make an excuse to buy more shit.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
Like I really like the like lately. What's on my list? Let's talk. What's on your list of shit you want to buy? I want to buy the Hero 7 because everybody else has it, and for whatever reason, the Hero 4 and the gimbal that I have that works perfectly fine because everybody else has the Hero 7. I think I need to try that, and then I also need the Osmo because I feel like I carry that.
Ooh, I want
pocket.
the Osmo too.
Yeah, that's not. That seems like really. That's a lot of fun. What else I got on my short list for YouTube? There's and then the I want to get those like wireless microphones that you can wear that are like lapel mics. Because if I did the biker bar and I had like 3 people in here, that would be cool. Or it would be really cool, like if I was riding and say like I was riding with like BKXE, he could wear one and I could wear one, and then I could have his audio, no problem. So I mean, right there was like $2,000 worth of shit. So that's what I can come up with in like 30 seconds. How about you guys?
For me personally, a drone I think would be cool to get a couple shots.
There's $1,000
for video. So that's my main thing. And yeah, basically maybe a better camera for vlogging and third person shots.
I forgot that one. Now there's another $2,000 for me.
Yeah, I got the Canon M100, but that's sort of, it'll be okay for that. But ideally,
every time I look at cameras, I start at like the $300 one, and within like 7 minutes, I'm up to like the $6,000 one.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I have no clue how to work it, so I'm like, I don't even understand why I'm trying to get myself there.
Yeah. So those are the 2 big ones for me.
How about you, Cobra
Kyle? GoPro 7, like you said, I don't need one. My friend Chris got one, and his footage looks this much better than mine. So I'm like, oh, I need that.
Right.
And then
that's gonna make or break the channel, dude.
Exactly. I know subscribers from there, so easily. And I was also looking at like a new laptop because I use this old desktop to edit, and I was like, I'd like to like, if I travel somewhere, want to get out of the house, I can still work.
Yeah.
I mean, they're expensive though.
As an IT guy, anybody out there in the world thinking about buying a computer, do not buy a desktop. I'm just telling you.
Yeah. Very restrictive.
Yeah, it's very restrictive. Unless you're a gamer, like don't bother.
Yeah.
How about you, fat guy?
Probably just a waterproof gimbal, like a chest mounted one. Like I said earlier, I'm using a smartphone gimbal that my wife bought me, and it works great for what the setup I have. But I mean, I'm just worried about breaking it or something when I fall down. And I mean, you know how it is. You're gonna fall down when you're mountain biking. There's no doubt about it.
If you guys buy a gimbal on Amazon using my affiliate link, and then
I doubt it.
and then right after that, there's almost always like a service warranty kind of plan on Amazon, and it'll be like $50, and they will replace it for like, let's say 2 years. So pretty much, awesome. Let's say you buy an Evo SS, right? For the first year, pretty much anything you do to it, you can send it back to Evo. It costs like, I don't know, for where everybody is, maybe it'd be like $20 or less, right? And they'll pretty much fix anything. But after that, if you break it, you use that warranty, and pretty much everything that you do to a gimbal, they're just going to give you your money back. So it's worth it. So my very first gimbal was a gift bought for me. My lady bought it for me, and she didn't buy that thing, and I broke it in 6 months, and then I had to buy a new one. And the next one I bought with the warranty, and I broke it in 6 months, and I got a new one for free. So that's I think those plans are set up for like they see it as like, oh, it's camera gear. So they're banking on like, oh, there's a lot of things that can be fixed or whatever. But basically with the gimbal and mountain biking, the end result is it's broke. So it's pretty much like they're like, oh, okay, here's your money back. Send us the gimbal. Sometimes they don't even ask for the gimbal back, which I had happen to me once where they just gave me my money back, and then I sent the gimbal to Evo and they fixed it, and it cost me a little bit of money, and then I had a gimbal and a free gimbal. Oh, no. That's how I ended up getting my second one. So where I was like, oh, now I have a backup. So that way then I can send something back or whatever. That's the other problem, with your channel when you start out. It's like just trying to get the gear for the first gear, right? But then you have this issue where it's like, well, if I don't have my gimbal and I can't do stabilized footage and it's going to take 3 weeks to get my gimbal back in the mail, then what am I going to do? You know? So you're either going to come up with other stuff or you're going to come up with some money to buy another gimbal.
Or your guys' really nice bikes.
Right.
I would kill for a Santa Cruz.
I'm telling you, man, the bike doesn't mean everything, dude. It
Well,
really,
I
really
know.
I'm telling you, I mean, I can't stress to you that much. Like the bike that you're riding doesn't mean shit, dude. Like you can go out and rent bikes, dude. If you went out and spent a fraction of what you would on a new bike on just renting new bikes through the year, somebody else said it in the comments earlier. Reviews get views, dude. There's channels that like all they do is reviews, and their subscriber count goes through the roof, dude.
So, well, I was speaking with Tugi. Like, I would love to, go to Seven Springs downhill park in the summertime, set something up there, and rent a downhill bike because I'm for some reason I'm obsessed with downhill bikes. I don't know why, but I just think they look
because gravity is good to fat guys. That's why, dude. Yeah. I know why, dude. Don't fuck around, dude. I get it, man.
It is very good. I mean, watch me pull away from all my skinny friends.
Right? Yeah. It's funny, dude. When we're like coasting down the road, I'm like, dude, either my hubs are way better than you or gravity is efficient. You know? So that's
it
funny.
Certainly is.
So I don't even remember the last thing I asked. God, I'm off topic now. So what is there anything that you guys want to ask me, before we wrap things up that maybe I've been leading this conversation a bunch. So
just one thing I wanted to ask you, like I'm sort of feel the pressure lately, sort of getting to a certain level that I need to put out a video every week. And I have maybe a couple of videos sort of already ready to go for the next couple of weeks, but then I'm just so afraid of not posting a video every week. And I don't know, you said you've kind of skipped a week here lately. And
I'm actually considering like changing my channel to be like once a month personally.
Yeah.
Just because I think that I think the people that like follow your channel or whatever, like I think they follow your channel for who you are. And yes, they would enjoy more content if it's more content, but if the option is you do a video every other week and you keep doing videos, or you do a video every week for another 3 months and then you burn out and never do another one, like what's the best decision? So like for me, I feel like there's lots of guys that say, like repetition and have it up all the time. And I think there is definitely value in that. Like as long as you're doing it every week and people can count on it, like they're going to keep looking for it. And as well as I do, every time you post a new video, that's how you get more subscribers, right? Like if you just leave all your videos there, like your subscriber count will go up, but not like it does whenever you post something new. So I think it's like, what's the value? Where's the value to you? But I think for me, like what I'm, and this is me, like I'm just saying, like where I'm at in my YouTube career is realizing that I need to like really find a better balance between my YouTube and my real life, and I haven't done a good job of that in the past. So I'm trying to like set myself up and like be realistic with myself now. But I think that if you're going to skip a week, or if you're going to change your schedule or whatever, I think the best advice, which I don't follow very well at all, I'm just really good at giving it, is just to be transparent with your subscribers and let them know that's what you're doing. That's the thing at least now with YouTube, you got community tab. Does everybody have community tab now? I think
I think you have to get over 1,000 subscribers.
It's over 1,000.
They'll eventually give that to you.
Right. So then at least it gives you an option to be able to like put something out to people and not have to do a video. Like for the longest time, it's like, if I want to tell my subscribers, I have to do a video. And it's like, I can post things on Instagram or Facebook, but there's only like a fraction of people. I have what, 6,200 people on YouTube. I have like 500 people on Facebook at B1KER B1. And like same thing with Instagram. It's like I have a little over 2,000 people on Instagram, but I wouldn't even say that all those 2,000 people on Instagram even follow my YouTube channel. Because the way Instagram works, like people follow you because you like add some hashtag or whatever. So those people may not even all be subscribers. So like they're fortunately for the community tab, like now at least there's an efficient way to be able to like get people information if you just need to. Like, hey, I'm getting married this weekend. I'm not going to post anything for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like whatever it is, you know, like before it'd be like you'd have to like do a subscriber update and then maybe people watch it, you know. How about you, Cobra Kyle? Anything else on the way out?
I just kind of wanted to follow up with what you guys were just talking about. I mean, I think it's super healthy to take a break every now and then, because when I was first starting, like I was super stressed about it all the time. Like I have to put a video out every week. And I learned that once I started, like, oh, I'll take a week off here and there. Like the content that I made when I came back, I was like excited to come back to making it. I don't know. It was just super helpful to take some breaks sometimes. So I think it's normal.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah.
I don't plan on taking a break at all. As far as like a rhino. Just crush it.
Yeah. How do you think he lost all that weight, man? He's like, right? I'm just doing blow all night. I'm never going to sleep. Just fucking blow on YouTube. So at this point, guys, man, it's been 2 hours. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate you guys coming on the channel and chatting with me and everybody else out there. And hopefully for those of you guys watching, go check out their channels. I'll put them in the show more afterwards. If you guys don't know, this is a podcast as well as it is live. So you can check it out on Apple's, whatever the hell that's called, and Google's, whatever the hell that's called, or SoundCloud, or you could even go to biker.com, look for the video. I usually got the links to the all the social media stuff there, or the podcast stuff there. So it'll be in the show more maybe tomorrow whenever I get around to writing it. So I really appreciate like you guys coming here. I also really appreciate all the people that have been on here. This actually, that believe it or not, man, this has been a really good biker bar. I was watching the
awesome.
current watching, man, and like people are really into what's going on and what we were talking about. Do you guys have anything to say on your the end of here, your goodbye? What do you got for a goodbye, fat guy? I feel bad every time I say it. I feel like
hey, no, it's about the brand, Robert. It's about the brand.
There you go.
You know,
what do you got going on?
But my catchphrase is, it's not about the lemons that life gives you. It's about the lemonade that you make with it. So
there you go.
Have a great night.
How about you, Cobra Kyle?
Well, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun. My sign off, it's stay rowdy within reason.
Say again. Say what?
Stay rowdy within reason.
Oh, there you go. That sounds good. Keeps you from breaking bones, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
How about you, Toogie?
Yeah, just thanks for having me on the show. And like I say on my channel, keep your feet on the pedals.
There you go. And all of you guys know that there is a subscribe button down in the corner somewhere. Subscribe, support. Please hit the thumbs up button. I can see right now that there's more people watching than there are thumbs up. So hit the thumbs up before you guys leave.
Yeah, hit that thumbs up.
That would make me really happy. Once again, I keep talking about this because I want to search friggin' MTB or mountain biking podcast on Apple and see my freaking icon come up. So in order to do that, I need you guys to go there and write a review or put stars on it. Only choose 5 stars. If you choose less than 5 stars, it actually deletes your YouTube account. So make sure you go there and don't fuck up, man. This is serious. You'll lose all your YouTube account if you don't put 5 stars on my podcast on Apple. That's all. That's what I'm going to go ahead and close out with. I want you guys all to know it only takes a bike to be a biker. So get the fuck out and be one, bitches.